Well, what's going on, Clipper fans? It's Jonathan Tim here back with another off-season video with plenty of content, and we have a very special guest here with us today. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can experience Clipper baseball. One, of course, is tuning into the Clippers broadcast network where you can hear myself along with our producers at home. But if you walk through those gates, you're going to hear a different voice, and that is the voice of Tim Lipan, who entertains the crowd year in and year out every year as the public address announcer of the Muskegon Clippers. So here we have Tim Lipan. How are you doing today, Tim? It's approaching springtime. Do things have to be feeling good weather-wise in Michigan?
Well, it changes about every 20 minutes. Right now it's snowing. I think tomorrow it might be 42 degrees and melting. So that's Michigan for you.
Yeah, likewise here across the lake in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Inconsistent weather, but we're approaching baseball weather, and that means after the players' college season is over, the new arrival of the 2025 Clipper squad is upon us. So, Tim, let's talk about how it all began, how you began your gig with the Clippers. If I'm not mistaken, it was 2014 when you arrived with the organization. So walk me through how you arrived to be officially the voice of the Clippers at Marsh Field.
Well, it's kind of an interesting story. I do a lot of public address announcing for local high schools, mainly Mona Shores High School in Norton Shores, but also for Western Michigan Christian. And I announced soccer and basketball and baseball for the high school. And one day, Pete Gokowski, the owner of the Clippers, asked me for lunch and got to talking. And he said, well, we're going to create this summer collegiate league and we need a public address announcer. And we kind of like what you do at the high school games. And would you be interested in being our public address announcer for the Clippers? Well, high school PA announcing is a little different. Try not to be too much of a homer. You try to be fair to both sides. You're just calling the lineups, or in basketball, you're talking about who's entering the game or who made the basket. Pretty general. But I always had a different feeling for baseball, especially if we were going to go into the collegiate ranks or minor league or something like that. I really felt like the public address announcer had a different role, and that they could be homers, rooting for the home team and engaging the crowd. And so I asked Pete, I said, I really have some interesting ideas. I think we would incorporate music, and certainly wouldn't we do some games between innings for fans? But how far can I go? Where's the line before I get in trouble? Because I might not really know exactly what I'm going to say, but you go with the flow and you go with the excitement of the game. And all they said is, we'll let you know when you cross it. And we've been partners ever since. And I love doing the public address announcing. It's fun. Our whole goal, though, is to try to engage the fans during the entire game that they're at the ballpark. So when you're at the ballpark, there's great baseball going on. We've proved that. We got playoff baseball going on. But also, baseball can be a little slow sometimes. And filling in the gap with music or games or banter or jokes or whatever, I think it served us well. And we kind of get rave reviews for our fan engagement exercises. So I don't know. What do you think? You're kind of busy, though.
I think it's great. We can pick up some of the things you're saying on the live air, and even the viewers from home who don't get to experience the atmosphere, they get a little taste of not only my voice, but they get to hear yourself as well. Obviously, with the road broadcast, it's a little different, and sometimes we'll be parked up right alongside the opposing team's PA guy. But let's talk a little bit further back down the road. And you mentioned before you met Pete and the Clippers, you were doing high school games. What got you into public address announcing as a whole?
Well, it probably is the reputation I got for being in the festival business in Muskegon. There's like some kind of festival almost every weekend in Muskegon, Michigan. And I got involved in a lot of the festivals, and I emceed for a lot of those festivals, and we had a big one, much like the Milwaukee Summerfest. It was called Muskegon Summer Celebration. It was 11 days of music and national acts. And I helped book those acts, produce those shows, and emceed for 19 years. So I guess people thought, well, he's not afraid to talk in front of 20,000 people. He can probably do a high school baseball game. So there you have it.
Hey, public speaking is one of the grandest skills to have, and don't mind if I do, Tim, but I have taken a few of your strategies when public address announcing St. Over volleyball, and I'm very grateful to have those skills and to have learned from you. Let's talk and take a deeper dive into what goes on at Marsh Field. So fans walk through the gates, and you talked about the difference of it being a little bit more biased in baseball. And talk to me about the differences maybe between announcing a baseball game, a soccer game, a basketball game, whatever the case may be. What makes every sport unique?
Well, soccer is probably the slowest one because there's not a lot of substitutions and not a lot for a public address announcer to do, other than do substitutions and whenever they score a goal, excuse me. But oftentimes, as a public address announcer, you're in charge of the music as well. And again, just trying to create a fan experience, you can do that in soccer with music. Baseball is same thing. There's walk-up music for players. There's space in between innings where you can use music, games, or something to continue to engage the fans. Basketball is a lot faster pace. There's substitutions going on. People are scoring. You're announcing the score. There's a foul. You're telling about the foul. There's a timeout by the referee who's explaining something to the scorer's table. And I love to tell the crowd what's going on because they can't hear that stuff and just help them understand what's going on in the game. But I will say the Clippers is the most fun because we can be a little bit irreverent and it's not high school, so we're not offending anyone. And in fact, we want to be homers at a Clipper game. And if we can put the other team at a disadvantage, it's all in good fun. Like our beer batter, right?
Right. Then we'll talk about more traditions down the road. And I like that point you made because at the end of the day, these are college baseball players. And if they can't handle the Marsh Field atmosphere, how do they expect to live in the moment one day if they're playing in Omaha for the College World Series?
You
So
bet.
that gives it a unique twist, and that's what separates Clipper baseball apart. Now the fun part, traditions, and I kind of briefly walked us into that segment before I got off track and asked you about other sports. What might a fan expect from a tradition standpoint? Because, when the players aren't on the field at historic Marsh Field, some other players may, and that's where the excitement comes in between innings.
Well, yeah, we do a lot of things. Like I said, always trying to engage the fans. So we have sing-alongs where we're going to sing "Sweet Caroline" as a crowd together. We have dance-alongs. Almost always, we're going to do the YMCA, where some of the players come out of the dugout and lead us the whole ballpark in doing the YMCA. Those are fun things. I notice if we get a younger crowd there, maybe 6 and 7 year old baseball team, I'll play Baby Shark, and they love it. Parents hate it, but it's all in good fun. But I think maybe what's been unique for us is our famous beer batter. And would you like me to tell you a little bit about how that works?
Proceed, Tim, proceed.
Well, typically before the game starts, we will pick a player from the other team. And when he comes up to bat, I will do something like this. And batting next for the Leprechauns is number 22, Jimmy Smith. And guess what, baseball fans? Jimmy Smith's our beer batter. And if he strikes out, beer is $1 off for the rest of the inning. And the crowd will go wild. Poor Jimmy, he looks up at me in the press box and goes, "Why me?" In fact, half the time his buddies in his own dugout are laughing because he got chosen. Well, what would happen is if he strikes out, beer's $1 off for the rest of the inning. That's one thing. But the crowd now is engaged in every single pitch. And when finally get that third strike, I'll play a little what is that? Something
The
polka?
the Wisconsin anthem, Roll Out the Barrel.
Roll out the barrel, the beer barrel polka. And the crowd goes wild. And that's the way the bartenders know they got a surge coming because they hear the music. And it seems as though people love it. It's fun. As I said, it keeps everybody involved. And in fact, I've had opposing coaches give me a name and say, make this guy the beer bat. It's like, okay. So everybody loves it.
Well, that's one way to apply pressure. And when you want a guy to perform, tell him he's on the spot. Um,
Yeah.
Clipper baseball has been a true asset to the city of Muskegon as a whole. And, you talked about your previous roles and being an MC for big events, and then obviously the local high school area sports. Tell the people of Muskegon why they should check out Marsh Field and Clippers baseball if they have not already. Let's hear the sales pitch.
The sales pitch. All right. Well, I tell you, you can't get any better family fun. It's cheap to get into the ballpark. And so you can bring the whole family in for, 25 bucks. You not only get admission, but you can buy everybody a hot dog, a drink, and maybe a bag of chips. So it's really affordable. It's just one more entertainment value in Muskegon in the summer. And it seems to work out well. Our attendance has been going up year after year after year, and that's great as people discover the Clippers. One, because we play good baseball. Two, it's an unbelievable friendly field. It's historic. It's 109 years old, and there's lots of history there. And then finally, it's too much fun. We know if we get people to come once, they will come back and they will bring their friends because of the reasonable price, because of the engagement we have with the fans, because of the good baseball. And what's better than baseball on a summer afternoon or evening?
Nothing. I can't think of anything. Maybe two baseball games if it's a doubleheader, I guess.
There you go.
I got one final question for you, Tim, and this will be a one that pertains more to you specifically in your career you've had announcing sports. Name one sport that you have yet to PA announce for that you would like to before your career is over. What's that one sport you've always wanted to call?
Well, I've done basketball, baseball, soccer, wrestling, volleyball. I guess the next step, look at my hair, it's probably got to be pickleball.
And that's why he's the best, folks. That's why you got to come out to Marshfield right there. I mean, you never know if professional pickleball has got to be on the rise. Granted, how many
Somewhere.
sports are being put up there. And hey, maybe they can mic you up and you could still play as well. I'm sure some game entertainment like that wouldn't be too far down the road. I'd willingly sign up to play with a game or two with you if that was the case.
Yeah, it'd be great. I'm ready.
Well, there you have it, folks. Jokes and everything. Tim Lipan, thank you for joining us, Tim. We're looking forward to another summer of Clipper baseball. Marshfield really isn't the atmosphere without hearing your voice throughout 9 innings, plus the pregame festivities. So thank you for all you do. Thank you for the time today. And hey, we're a couple of months down the road from 2025 edition of Clipper Baseball.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. And speaking of the best, you're the best at what you do, and I'm glad you're coming back.
Thank you, Tim. If there's one thing I know, it's hold on to a good thing while you've got it. And that great thing is the Muskegon Clippers. Well, that's all for now, Clipper fans. Hey, we got a podcast out, so you might hear some clips from this episode in next week's episode. Again, the Muskegon Clippers Extra Podcast, bi-weekly. And yeah, feel free to tune into that on Spotify. And more details are on the Clippers' social media websites. This is Jonathan Tim, joined by Tim Lipan, signing off from this edition of Clippers Baseball, and we will see you next time.